Is it me or did Kenneth Walker look suspiciously like Adrian Peterson? I'm not talking about just running style. Like, I mean, like with the shaved head and everything. I mean, I'm just saying. Well, I'm glad, they kind of just upped the offensive productivity in the second half, because it was looking like that MVP was going to Jason Myers. What is up, everybody? My name is Advance, and this is Advance Sports Talk. All right, so Super Bowl 60 has concluded, and there was a lot to talk about. Of course, we know there was a lot to talk about outside of the game, mostly revolving around the halftime show, but I will save that for a different video on a completely different channel, Advanced Perception, if you're interested. So, for now, we are going to talk about the Super Bowl game between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots, both who have been to the Super Bowl before, once facing each other as well. Actually, it was about to be another rematch, because if Bo Nix had played in the AFC Championship game, then it would be a rematch between the Seahawks and the Broncos. But the chips fell where they are, and we got this. So both teams trying to build a brand new dynasty are back on the grandest stage of the NFL season. And yeah, so first half wasn't a lot to really write home about. Not a lot of offense. There was a bunch of critiques online on social media saying that the Super Bowl is boring. This is a boring game and whatnot. I could see that if you're watching it from an offensive perspective, but you gotta watch it from a defensive perspective. Both defenses was playing lights out. Well, Seattle was playing lights out, which is why their defense has officially coined the nickname the Dark Side, because they play lights out, but I'll talk more on that later. New England, they was playing good. They definitely kept the game competitive, but whereas they weren't playing lights out, they was just flickering on and off. They was flickering the switch on and off, but but nevertheless, it was 9-0 going into halftime, and Seattle Seahawks game plan was painfully simple. They said, look, New England's probably going to take our best receiver away from us, so we going to take what they give us, and we are not going to get aggressive. We're not going to throw the game away, literally. So we're going to do what works. We're going to run the ball. We're going to take short yard gainage. We're going to inch our way down the field, and we are not going to get aggressive in the red zone. It was like, so they would get down and be like, we in the red zone, and it's fourth down. Okay, kick the field goal. No questions, no thoughts about it. Just kick the field goal. Oh no, we're down in the red zone again. What should we do? Well, kick the field goal. It was not 9. It was 9-0 going into halftime. So yeah, I think around after that second field goal, it was like, okay, it doesn't look like the Patriots can move the ball either. So we actually winning. So let's keep kicking field goals. Oh man, they're like, hey, oh no, we didn't make it into the red zone, and it's fourth down, punt the ball. There's no suggestion of this is the Super Bowl, we need to go hard or go home. No, punt the ball. Punt the ball. Like, take what they give you. If we don't get it, okay, that's fine. because the general flow of the game was that New England couldn't get started. They couldn't get their offense started. And the thing is that half of that you can kind of blame on the offensive line and the fact that Seattle's pass rush was vicious. And the other half, you have to put it on Drake May, because the clearly the moment was too big for him. And I'm not slandering him as a player, but it's like, as a second year player, you get the lights, the lights on it. Yeah, it was literally deer in the headlights look, because there was, while you can excuse the him getting sacked because the pocket just gets obliterated, offensive tackle gets pushed back into him as he's trying to look for people downfield, step into a throw and all that stuff. Yeah, but you can't excuse missing wide open receivers, wide open, and it was the throws that was bad. So yeah, because he had I think he had Diggs on a couple. No, I think Diggs dropped that. Who was that? That was Hunter Henry. I remember that was out there, and yeah, it was Booty, Kiki Booty, Keyshawn Booty. Yeah, there we go. I said Kiki. I'm thinking about Kiki Cutie. He's on a completely different team, but yeah, there's when Drake was able to get, when he was actually able to get out of the pocket or get the ball off, he was unable to actually connect with receivers. Now, that problem didn't even begin to be solved or even troubleshot or reviewed until they got into the second half, after they went into halftime. So at that point, the game was still manageable. So even in the third quarter, Seattle only got 3 points out of it. They hold on, let me double check just to be sure. Yeah, the only thing that happened in the third quarter was a field goal. But yeah, I think once they got that touchdown into they got that touchdown 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. That's when when New England locked in. They went down 8 plays. Mac Hollins caught a 35-yard touchdown. And it was just like that. We got a ball game. So it's what was it? 7? It was 7-20, 7-22 at that point. But even still, it's not. It wasn't entirely. It wasn't entirely bad. We're not gonna pretend that we didn't see another team score 5 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and come back and beat Seattle when they had 29 points. But all jokes aside, it's after when they the game was still within reach of New England, but when Drake May threw that interception, I thought it was a fumble, but no, it was an interception because his arm was coming forward, but it never touched the ground. So yeah, Nwosu caught it. He knocked it right into his hands, and yeah, he ran it in for the touchdown. Once he threw that pick six, that was the nail in the coffin. That was it. And you saw on the New England sideline, the defense was that took the wind completely out of their sails. And yeah, at that point, it was just all about clock management. So yeah, Ramondre Stevenson ended up getting a touchdown at the end of the game. But after that, it was just Kenneth Walker just eating up yards, killing clock, getting the first downs when he needed. When he didn't get the first down, punt the ball. Like, yeah, it's that's crazy. And then the thing is, I know that what's gonna come out in the weeks since the Super Bowl, you know, it's gonna be a discussion. Is Sam Darnold an elite quarterback? Is he not an elite quarterback? Is he just a game manager? I will say that he is a competent enough quarterback to win the Super Bowl. Look, right there, like, listen, I would dispute that. I would have disputed that whole argument, elite versus game manager, if they had given him the Super Bowl MVP. But they didn't give him the Super Bowl MVP. They gave it to Kenneth Walker, because Kenneth Walker literally held the game in his hands, you know, running. So yeah, there's no need to visit that. So yeah, but nevertheless, second half Drake May played significantly better than he did in the first half, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. You gotta get started in the first 2 quarters, and you gotta keep pace, because once a game gets out of hand like this, you gotta be flawless the rest of the way. And you know, you had your defense. When your defense holds a team to 9 points, you should definitely be back in the game. In fact, I saw a stat that said, what was it? Yeah, the Patriots are the most sacked team in the was the most sacked team this off season. The last team that set that record was the Bengals back in 2021. Once again, Joe Burrow, second year quarterback, just like Drake May this year. So yeah, but hey, nevertheless, it was an impressive showing in the second half, but you gotta play 4 quarters. Patriots defense played good, and you know, I could understand if they was a little bit pissed, because they're like, yo, how much better can we play? They only had 12 points. Seattle had 12 points coming into the fourth quarter. So yeah. But with that being said, that was the game. I'm gonna talk briefly. So they had Bad Bunny, Puerto Rican artist, did the halftime show, and I know the majority of the people that are watching the Super Bowl don't speak Spanish. There's a good portion of that do. The visuals, the performance and the visuals itself was top notch, you know, and you would have to, needless to say, the performance, I'm sure, went over a lot of people's head. One, because you're not really familiar with the culture, and I'm even including myself in that. In fact, I had to hit somebody up that is actually from Puerto Rico to get her take on it. So yeah. But yeah, nevertheless, like when you look at the imagery and everything, and yeah, but Bad Bunny, you know, he's an international draw, so he did good. He actually did I think he won a Grammy this year, so he had so he put up good numbers. So it was like, hey, we want to have him perform. Now, like I said, now I know that there was also some divisiveness behind this same subject, but I'm gonna go into that on another video on a completely different channel, Advanced Perception, if you're interested. But nevertheless, as far as the game goes, those are my thoughts on the Super Bowl game, on Super Bowl 60. Great seasonal showing from both teams. Both teams thoroughly surprised me this year, because I did not have either of these teams in my Super Bowl prediction. until maybe the second round of the playoffs when me and Slim was talking, and we were like, hold up, it could be a rematch between the Seahawks and the Patriots. But yeah, nevertheless, I'm actually glad, because I had said earlier this season, and I've also said last season too, that when Seattle was trying to rebuild their defense, I said it's like they was almost at that Legion of Boom level, but not quite there. But you know what? They went and they done created a whole new name for themselves. So now their defense is officially known as the Dark Side. I wish I could take credit for that, but I didn't come up with it. It was announced by the analysts and the announcers had announced it. So yeah, they said it because they play lights out. So then Seattle had the Legion of Boom, and then they got the the Dark Side. And you know, of course, I already know there's probably going to be somebody that's upset the fact that Seahawks has a female owner and that she was hoisting up the Lombardi Trophy. Deal with it. Also, congrats to Clint Kubiak, who has officially announced that he is taking the Raiders head coaching job. So good luck, Seattle, finding an offensive coordinator. I can tell you, after you win the Super Bowl, it gets a little tough. But all right, but nevertheless, those are my thoughts on the game. What are your thoughts on the game? How did you feel about Super Bowl 60? Were you rooting for the Patriots? Were you rooting for the Seahawks? Are you a member of the 12s? Are you saying F12 or what? Put your comments in the comment section down below. We're gonna chop it up and start this conversation. Also, let me know what you thought about the halftime show. My name is Advance. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe on everything. I'm out.